Hi, I'm here at World Class Audio Studios in Riverside, California, and I'm mixing a band called Private Radio. They're based out of Moscow, Russia. They're a ska band. And we're going to take a little look into the process of mixing a little bit into one song so you can kind of see what the difference between plug-in and hardware interactions and the console and all the craziness that ensues from there. So let's take a look. Okay, so we're going to start at the top of the lead vocal of the chorus. And we're going to check out just how it sounds raw.
I wish you were here just to hear how it sounds. I wish you were near, oh my dear, you're around.
Okay, cool. And then we'll just pop up the tuning. Now with Melodyne, I will always go in and tune it by hand in the no snap mode, if you can know what that is. If not, take a look and look it up. And because I end up dragging the notes around and changing the modulation on vibrato, and I don't know, I just get tweaky on it, so it ends up being less, Cher, Do You Believe in Life After Love sounding. Here it is with the tuning.
I wish you were here just to hear how it sounds. I wish you were near, oh my dear, you're around.
Yeah, so I like retaining, the vibrato. She's got some pretty wide vibrato in her voice, but I don't want to take it all out, but I went in and softened some of those up. Next thing is that I'm using here is called Dynamic Spectrum Mapper. It's by a guy named Paul Frindle. He's the guy responsible for, one of the guys responsible for the Sony Oxford plugins, and then he jumped ship on his own and made this fantastic plugin. This plugin basically is a dynamic, you could call it a dynamic EQ, which is kind of a simplification of it. Basically, think of it as a multi-band compressor, but using thousands of poles instead of using like 3 or 4 separate bands. So in her voice, I needed to dynamically knock some of the mid-range of her voice out. Let's take a listen to that.
I wish you were here just to hear how it sounds. I wish you were near, oh my dear.
And here's with it off.
I wish you were here just to hear how it sounds.
Yeah, especially when she gets up into that little higher note, you can just hear it rocks out a little harder on the mid-range, which I want to soften up, and I did. So you could see it was hitting that 1K range. Next thing on her vocal is definitely wanted to add some bottom. So I hit about 60 hertz here on the Jack Joseph Puig collection here, Puig Tech, and then also simultaneously attenuate. Pultecs are weird. Attenuating and boosting at the same time doesn't produce a cancellation, or doesn't cancel each other out. Then we got a boost happening over here at 8K, and again an attenuation. And so let's hear what that sounds like with and with. Here's with.
I wish you were here just to hear how it sounds.
Okay, without.
I wish you were here.
You hear it's just a little thinner and a little less expansive with it off. So, if you haven't geeked out with boosting and attenuating with these Pultecs, even the real one or the plugin, it's pretty dang cool. Next up, down the chain of million plugins on this thing, we have Sony Oxford EQ. Speaking of Paul Frindle, see what we got.
I wish you were here just to hear how it sounds. I wish you were near, oh my dear,
it's got a little bit of a poke, happening in there. I do like that, getting rid of that. And let's see, where is that? That is no, not there. There it is, 417 hertz. I could do without this bottom end roll off though, so I'm going to go ahead and second guess my mixing here. And roll that back a little lower. Now next comes we got a de-esser. And so you notice that we haven't even hit a compressor yet. I mean, besides the dynamic spectrum mapper, which is mainly knocking out her 1K range.
I wish you were here
Soften up the
just
highs.
to hear how it sounds.
Okay, here's without.
I wish you were here just to hear.
Yeah, so it's the top end is a little sizzly. On lady vocals or de-essing, I usually have the frequency up a little higher. Guys, sometimes I'll de-ess a little lower. The women tend to S up a little higher in frequency. Now we're finally going to hit the first limiter, the first limiter. So here's L2 on now.
I wish you were here just to hear how it sounds.
Okay, here's without.
I wish you were here just to...
See, it sounds good without it, but it's not compelling without it, you know?
I wish you were here just to hear.
And it's definitely more driving with it on. Now, after just maybe hitting this L2 at 1 dB on the peaks, now I hit a compressor, because a lot of times I find if I hit a compressor first, I end up slamming the compressor as opposed to just limiting some of the peaks before the compressor, and it just ends up not sounding as cool to me. So now here's what the CLA or 77 here.
I wish you were here just to hear how it sounds.
Now I'm going to go ahead and disable the limiter and the compressor and see what it sounds like.
I wish you were here just...
Yeah, not nearly as in your face. And then, of course, you know, you got to have another limiter, you know. It's the law. So, here it is.
I wish you were here just to hear how it sounds.
So notice our peak level is at minus 5.1. If you look at my cursor here. So now let's turn all these off and let's these on.
I wish you were here just to hear how it sounds. I wish you were near, oh my dear, you're around.
Okay, so yeah, we're pretty close to the exact same peak level, but we're not exact. I like to keep the level or the relative or the peak level the same so that I kind of know where I'm at. So I'm going to go ahead and put this down right where we're at. Actually, we'll put it below where the original was, just to check it out. So here's with all the on. Excuse me, not effects. My chain of pre-effects.
I wish you were here just to hear how it sounds. I wish you were near.
Okay, so notice the peak level's minus 6.4. And actually, I can leave that tuning on. Yeah, so here's with the plugins off, except for the tuning.
I wish you were here just to hear how it sounds. I wish you were near, oh my dear, you're around.
Yeah, so, well, I'm still not convinced, but that we're even on level. But you get the point. It's pretty big difference between A and B on this thing. So now we get to the effects. Okay, for the effects, I've got a channel in here that I call the drive channel, which sounds really gritty and I'm going to leave that for last, but you'll hear it in the mix. We'll throw a mixed version of this out there. But for now, I'm going to mute that. Let's pop in kind of what I call my early reflection.
I wish you were here just to hear how it sounds.
So this is a combination. It's very affected right now. This is like a combination of some dynamic EQ, which is, again, I'm using Dynamic Spectrum Mapper. I'm using Air Lo-Fi to make it more of a grainy, lo-fied out kind of early reflection delay. Then we actually have H delay on here. And I am using high-pass, low-pass filters. And then we have L2.
I wish you were here.
And on top of that, we have Enigma, which is just giving slight modulation basically to it. So let's throw everything off except for the delay.
I wish you were here just to hear how it sounds. I wish you were near, oh my dear, you're a...
Here it's not, not subtle. Now we've got the long delay here, which is actually also a very EQ'd, high-passed beginning of that chain. I've got Saturn, FabFilter Saturn, which is a distortion, kind of a bandpass distortion delay, or not delay, but bandpass distortion. Then we have a long delay version, ping pong of H-Comp. Again, another instance of Enigma, which is basically just modulation, kind of a flange kind of thing. L2, or sorry, LA2A, and then L2.
I wish you were here just to hear how it sounds. I wish you were near, oh my dear, you're around. I wish you...
Okay, so we're going to A-B the effects here, with and without. Here is...
I wish you were here just to hear how it sounds. I wish you were near,
Here's
oh my...
early reflection.
I wish you were here just to hear how it sounds.
Here's with the late delays as well.
I wish you were here just to hear how it sounds.
And then also I have a drive channel, which sounds not so great out of the mix, but I'll pop it in anyways.
I wish you were here just to hear how it sounds. I wish you were near, oh my dear.
Somehow my backgrounds are sneaking in there as well. I got something solo saved, it appears. Oh well, you get the idea. So, no big deal. We're using 23 plugins for this. And you can see that there's a fairly massive chain of aux sends set up that are coming from here, which is actually my processed vocal. I basically took these 8 plugins, and actually I ran 2 pieces of hardware as well at the end of this chain, which is the TSL limiter and my 1950s Cinema EQs, which we can pop in here and show you. And after that, printed it back into Pro Tools, and then there's an additional EQ set up here on the actual process one. So I think it's actually 24 plugins. It's 23 or 24. Pretty crazy, but that's just kind of what it ended up being to get it where I wanted it. And now we'll pop in and show you what that sounds like in context of the mix.